Well, hello, everybody. We're trying to get on going, and we're going to talk about metabolic health. We should have some of the people joining us here in a little bit. Let's go. Okay. We should be going live everywhere, and it should be there. Are we on? Home. There we go. And we'll invite Amanda on here again. I'm sending it to her. Here we go. Perfect. Send it to her again. All righty. Cool. All right. And links on there to her. All right. There we go. So, hi, guys. Well, we're getting started and waiting for Amanda to join us. Let's go ahead and get started. Have you ever felt like you feel older than you should? I mean, do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel like, gosh darn it, it might be aging fast forward and you don't even know it? Or maybe, how about this in your day? Are your labs, anybody that's ever had their labs that says they're normal, but you feel crappy and crummy? Is that you? Or maybe, do you ever have cravings? It's 3 o'clock Central Time. Now you're starting to crash. Have you already crashed and had a power drink or snacks and that kind of stuff already on the East Coast? And gosh, out there in California, you may just have gotten done with dinner, but you're sluggish and starting to feel tired. What if that's not just a habit? What if that involves something else called that looks like this? Yeah, this is me. This is my history. This is some of what we're going to talk about. And when we start looking at this is where I was called Mr. Belly So Big. Yeah, that was my nickname. And what happened was, as I participated in the modern day food environment with enthusiasm, and we're going to talk about what these kinds of things all kind of mean. So, what we want to look at is that, have you ever felt like these things? Have you ever felt that, gosh darn it, I want to feel good, I want to feel better, but your body just doesn't seem to get the way it is? So we're going to talk about some metabolic truths. We're going to talk about how this stuff all affects you and what that works like. So yeah, so when we start looking at things that happen and how they happen, we really want to truly look at what's going on with your body, with the science that's involved in all the things that happen. And so when we start looking at it, what's going on is that we just simply eat too often. We're eating with a high rate of frequency, okay? Reading with a high rate of frequency. And what do I talk about? That there we go. There she is. There's a lovely girl. Look at you go.
Oh,
Hey, there
how
she
come there's so
is.
many of us here?
Hey, there we are. I hope you had a great day.
Oh, yes, I just got home. So thank you so
Okay,
much for doing this.
perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So, and hey, David, how are you doing down there? Our buddy from Alabama just is down there. And David has an incredible story. Dave, we're going to get you on one of these as well. So, but Amanda is in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, I am.
And a pharmacist, a doctor of pharmacy.
Correct.
And so in your profession, you don't prescribe, you just fill up the orders, don't you?
Correct. I fill out the order. I counsel patients on how to take medications, on drug interactions, and yes, and I see people getting sicker.
Isn't that insane? Isn't that, why do you think that is? What do you think what's one of the biggest causes of all of this?
Well, it's because we're just playing whack-a-mole. We're just treating the symptoms, each one of this. I don't know if you can see the poster behind me. And the where the center is insulin resistance, right? So insulin resistant is George. I don't
Here
know.
we go. I got it.
Can you still see me?
Oh yeah. Yep, you're right there.
Okay. All right. So something's happening there.
Right.
There
Now
you
I'm
go.
just
Oh,
gonna
you're
pull up,
putting
I'm
up
gonna pull up
picture.
that slide.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so insulin resistant is at the root right there. And we're not addressing insulin resistance with medications. We're addressing each symptom that's around insulin resistance. So you can treat one symptom and another symptom will pop up. When you treat one symptoms with medications, and all medications have side effects, and now you're dealing with another diagnosis from the side effects from the original, from the medication to treat the original symptoms, and you end up with more. And because we're not addressing the root cause of insulin resistance, over time, the body will compensate, and over time, more damage are being done by high levels of insulin, um, due to high level of glucose in the bloodstream, causing tissue damage, cell damage, organ damage, and you end up with more diagnoses. So you might start with high blood pressure, and then high cholesterol, and then gut issues, and then Alzheimer's, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, and eventually people, type 4 diabetes is the big C word, or cancer, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and really what we're seeing is because what we're doing is eating so often, isn't that right? We're just eating so often. Oops, where'd you go? You fell off. Oh no, where'd you go? Come back to me. Come back to me. Yeah, one of the things that's happening is that just come back. You just have to re-enter. I'll see you as quick as you come back up. There we are. There we are.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we're good. It's just how we just keep eating so often is our problem. The frequency of eating, which keeps the insulin up so high, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Many people wake up in the morning, have breakfast, have coffees, have Dunkin' Donuts, have just highly processed food and sugars. So fruit juice is still sugar. Fruit juice, smoothies still spike glucose and insulin. I used to have smoothies for breakfast every morning. And even though it's fruit, like fresh fruits that I make myself, I'm not using any processed foods, I'm not adding any sugar. My smoothies consist of apples, fruits, bananas,
Yeah,
loaded with sugar, right?
right.
And vegetables, and water, and that's it. But because we're pulverizing, breaking down fiber, now we're just end up with a lot of sugar in our bloodstream when we drink this juice or when we drink the smoothies. We're breaking down the structures of fiber. The purpose of fiber, why Mother Nature's provide us with fiber and in every fruits and vegetable, is to slow down the rate of glucose entering the bloodstream. And instead of eating the fruits and vegetables, modern life, a modern food environment, we end up pulverizing and removing fiber and also breaking down the fibers. So therefore, when we consume this food, we're spiking our glucose and insulin. And over time, we end up with insulin resistance, as your picture shows here.
Yeah, and what happens is, guys, if you can visualize this, it's insulin is trying to get the glucose into the cell, and sometimes it won't take it anymore kind of like this visual here of insulin pushing, trying to get it into the cell. And it needs that. What is it for? It doesn't need the sugar. It needs the breakdown of those bonds to create ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the release of that energy. So it's when we talk about blood sugar, we're really talking about where it's going to be at, and what it's going to be used for. And so that's where this comes into play. So that's what's going on inside of there. And when we go into looking at those spikes and things, that's really what happens. So these spikes, as they come along, it goes, all these symptoms are going to come into play. All of these symptoms, every one of them. And in fact, there's even more. So if you start looking at this and any of these look like you, then you'll know about it, because I even did a chart for myself. And Amanda will come back. Here's a chart of 69. I had 58 of them, 56 of them, excuse me. And I forgot some that I need to put on there. And signs that insulin resistance are all cellular. It all breaks down to your systems, because there's nothing in the world that, there we go. And hey, she's back. And she's back. And so what happens here, guys, when we start looking at these different symptoms, we look at these different signs and signals, they are all things that you probably know somebody that has one or two of these, right? I mean, Amanda, in your lifetime, and you look fit as a fiddle. And we just met again in Las Vegas about a week and a half ago, and we were with the company, and we were on a cruise ship that the company bought out for just about 1,000 of us. Can you imagine a company that's good enough and strong enough that they bought a whole cruise ship for about 1,000 of us that holds like 4,000? What pampering, what specialities. And then we're at a convention and a Spartan race and education, and the company pours into us. But you look so fit, and every time I see you, but then again, we know that the outside isn't necessarily what the inside is, right?
Absolutely. Yes, you can look fit, and like myself, Shannon Davis, she's a dietitian, and we work out, we exercise. I'm no longer sick, but even prior to this protocol, I did not look that bad, right? I was a little inflamed, but I have autoimmune conditions. I had leaky gut. I had psoriasis. I had joint pain. That picture, yes. Inflammation. So I was not super overweight, but uh, 15 pounds is what I was able to lose using this protocol. And I have completely heal my leaky gut, resolve my psoriasis. I'm not on any medications, and I'm able to maintain my ideal body weight without any pain, without any inflammation with this protocol. It is sustainable. It's just food that we're giving back to our body. And it's very simple, and it's sustainable.
It absolutely truly is. What do you think when you start looking at the holidays? What are you seeing happening with the population now? What are you seeing from the pharmacist side of the world?
Oh yes, well, of course, more. I'm dispensing more acid reflux medications because people are eating more carbohydrates, more sweets, desserts during the holidays, between Thanksgivings and Christmas. And I myself, I love food. And during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, I'm going to enjoy my food. I'm going to eat. But we have tools to help us so that we can still keep our blood sugar balanced. We can still feel good. I don't feel bloating anymore. I used to, after a meal, I used to have bloating because I had leaky gut, I had inflammation, and I had IBS. So I no longer have that. And because I have my fiber before these meals, and I would take extra fiber, the fiber matrix that we use, part of our protocol, I would use that. I travel with them. I would have it before my dinner, but I will also have it before a cocktail. You know, we're going to parties. Like last night, I went to Ugly Sweater party. It was fun, and there's a lot of drinking, a lot of fried food. I had fried French. I had fried chicken skin. I've never had that before. I've had
Okay.
like, pork rind before, but last night was the first time I had fried chicken skin. Of course, French fries, and I didn't have any issues in the past eating like that. I would have bloating afterwards, but I didn't have any problem. I would have my fiber before this kind of food. I would have fiber, extra fiber before dessert, so that I can keep my blood sugar in check.
Isn't it wonderful that we have a protocol that allows us to eat normal, quote normal,
Mm-hmm.
but we also are very much aware in terms of the ramifications of some of those foods in excess. And with the protocol that we have, it allows us to actually supplement the fiber that's not going to show up at one of those buffets as a rule. Especially if you go, for egg rolls or lumpia or fried shrimp or chicken wings or stuffed dates or, the other types of foods by all the other ethnic groups that are available and are out there, but they are all really basically carbohydrate, aren't they?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and,
Mo-
and so they're loaded with carbs, loaded with sugar. And so we need to at least start our night with a fiber, with a soluble and insoluble fiber. What does that mean on a technical thing? What it means is it coats the gut,
mhm.
slows down the digestion, and feeds the good bacteria that's going to help us so we don't develop that acid reflux, that we don't develop that mood swing, that we don't develop the IBS and all the other kinds of things, right? That's really just how that plays out. And that's
Yes.
what you found, correct?
I'm sorry.
That's what you found with the balance,
Oh
correct?
yes, absolutely. I mean, the balance, this balance, it's not just fiber, it's a fiber matrix. It's a blend of fiber. Many people, when they hear the word fiber, automatically many people will just think of Metamucil or Benefiber. That's what we sell in the pharmacy. Those are just single source fiber. Whereas this fiber blend, it has over 7 different soluble and insoluble fiber that helps to support the gut microbiome. It acts as prebiotics. So when you drink this before your meals, and not only it helps to feed the good bacteria, but it also helps to slow down, like you said, the rate of glucose entering the bloodstream. So you do not have the spike and the crash. Also has been studied by the Cleveland Clinic to lower triglyceride. That's what I personally experienced. I've been able to lower my triglyceride 40%, and my mother-in-law was able to lower it from 242 to 99.
Amazing, outstanding results. And it's a patented
Mm-hmm.
product, so nobody can create it, can develop it, and it's different. It's not just that whatever that's in the fibers that people buy that are commercially out there. This is patented. This is unique. This is special to us, and that's what's really important for us to know. And so that's really one of the things that we really want people to understand is that these things can be developed, these things can be dealt with. So, in fact, that we don't have these issues. We don't have to worry about things like, well, guess what? Brain fog, belly fat. Because you can't outwork a bad diet, can you? You can do all kinds of things, but if the food source, the energy source is not there, you can't outrun a bad diet. And this time of year is a great time for having all those kinds of additives that you didn't have in July. You know, in July you had your ketchups and your barbecue sauces. You know, and now we have what? All the candy displays, all the cookies, all the rolls, all the kolaches, all the. I mean, my goodness gracious, name an ethnic group and what you have. I know. My one of my grandsons just turned, I think, 12, and he got like 4 dozen uh, um, uh, pieces of wonderful lumpia. You know, Philippines lumpia is a joyful treat, and that's one of his favorite things. But you can't outrun a bad diet, and you can only eat so much of those, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you can exercise all you want. If you have insulin resistance, your body will never be able to lose.
Right. We'll never be able to lose the weight and keep it off. And that's really, really the truth. So when we start looking at things, guys, here's part of the problem. The real challenge has come from the fact that where you're living in a modern day food environment, and this modern day food environment is what our challenge is that we're all up against, guys. This is where this came into play. And so if we look at even the history of food, we're on the back side of this thing. So my story, just so you understand, and one of the things that is, I'm really why we don't want you to go down the path that I was on, and certainly the path that Amanda was on, was a year ago, my fasting blood glucose was 834, and I had an A1C of 18.1. Now, she will tell you, I guarantee you, she will tell you that I should not be here. I should be basically not able to talk to my grandchildren. I shouldn't be able to talk to my mom, my brothers. We shouldn't be able to talk. I literally should have got, because that fasting at 834, I can't even now fathom what my normal run was.
Mm-hmm.
Was it possible I was at 1,000? I don't know. I was at 834 and I was going along. And 18.1, which is 18.1 A1C, guys, just so you understand what that actually means, is that over 18% of my red blood cells, remember back in school in third grade, we learned red blood cells, erythrocytes, they do what? They carry oxygen. 18%, almost 20% was covered in sticky, gluey sugar. Think about it. Because now when we make cookies now, you take, what makes the batter sticky, right? It's the flour and the sugar and the water together. It makes that glue. That was all on 18% of my red blood cells. 18% of my red blood cells was coated with that. And my blood sugar, we're using to have maple syrup as a nickname, is 834 was my fasting blood glucose. It should be like 90. That's what it was when we got the protocol. I mean, we got it down from 834 to 90 in 107 days without having to come visit you, without having to go to the pharmacy, without going on any medications. If I would have been in the normal track of modern day American medicine, I would have been what? One, they would have thrown me in the hospital. They would have put me on 3 or 4 dietary medications and at least one statin.
Or you're on your way to get your toes amputated, your foot amputated, your limbs amputated, going blind, going like all kinds of things will be happening to you if you hadn't found this protocol, George. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but that usually what I see, because you were already on insulin, correct?
No, I was on nothing.
You were not on anything. Okay.
I was on
I think I was talking to somebody else. Yes, somebody else was on insulin and he was able to come off of all that too.
Keith, who's just come on, and Keith is a great buddy. Keith is really he's a jewel of a story that's alive, like me, but he actually did die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I heard his story. I know he had these huge foot ulcers.
Yeah.
That's
After he died, they brought him back physically on the table. Died. They brought him back, and then he also then had ulcers and it was on all this stuff. I didn't have. I had my body was out of whack. I had, like I say, I had over 56 of the symptoms that I discerned. I actually had more than that because I found out more that I had of symptoms. My body was screaming that the world that it needed help. And had I not gone and gotten that blood checked in October and found those numbers, I may be dead now. Who knows? But the reason I walked out of the clinic with no intervention or help was because I'm stupid. No, or silly, or I'm a guy. All of the above, right? I mean, you're just going, yeah, that's you. Because we've been around each other. But the fact is I believe that food got me into this mess, and therefore I believe food could get me out of this mess. Medicine didn't get me in, and medicine would not get me out.
mm-hmm.
Food got me in. Food can get me out. And the protocol that saved my life, that saves Keith's life, saved David's life, and a lot of our other friends and families that we know and see and hear every day was because of this simple, sustainable, natural food protocol.
Absolutely.
It really is. It's amazing.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, for 30 some years, me dispensing medication, this is unheard of. I mean, it's almost sounds like it's too good to be true. When you share this with people, and especially healthcare professionals, like, is this for real? I mean, a tea and a fiber blend. It's like, yes, because it's like we're giving our bodies back what it needs, right? We're deficient in fiber, and we're using the tea to help us with fasting, make it easier, make it doable, because hunger always wins. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to lower your A1C, and the first thing that you do is cut calorie and move more, your body's not used to switching fuel sources efficiently because you've been consuming sugar for the past few decades, and all of a sudden you're removing that source. Your body's going to freak out, and your body's going to like, I need energy. I need energy. Where do I go? It's like, until we can train our body to be able to tap into our own store fat, we have the energy. It's in form of store fat, right? The body, like, we need to teach our body and train our body on how to tap back into that. And the fastest way to do that, and the most efficient way to do that, is through intermittent fasting, and also to support our body with maybe some MCT oil, some fat, some pure fat, pure good fat. We've been taught for decades to fear fat. So many people I talk to, including my own family members, afraid of fat, and because it's low fat everything, right? Low fat diet. We're eating vegetable oils. We're eating oils that's very inflammatory, because we were taught to be afraid of saturated fat, when in actuality we need those fat. Those fat do not spike your glucose and your insulin. Those fat do not, we're talking about real fat, like fat from avocado, fat from coconut, fat from beef, fat from animal fat. We're not yes. So the seed oils, the vegetable oils, they are liquid in room temperature outside of your body, but when you consume it, they get they do not get processed, they not get utilized, they get to store in your liver as toxins, because the body is not do not recognize these are highly processed oils. I mean, vegetable do not have oils. How do you get oil from vegetable, right? They're using chemical to make these vegetable oils. um,
Exactly. Now you know you struck on one of my favorite story things, Amanda, and it's this. Do you know the story of Crisco? Do you know the story?
that
Okay, because Crisco was cottonseed oil. Say so. Procter and Gamble got together, and what they were trying to do, what they were trying to replace candle wax and soap, and there was this lubricant, machine lubricant was cottonseed, and they took cottonseed oil, and it got hydrogenated, which solidified it. Okay, made it into Crisco, crystallized cottonseed oil. That's Crisco. Okay, now, and you know what Crisco looks like? It's white, kind of solid, greasy. Just it's a lubricant, a figuring lubricant. But did you know this is a question I always ask moms? Would you feed your child a Crisco sandwich? And of course they all go, "What? No, you look at me like I'm like a four-eyed toad, right?" But then you know what? As I say, well, let's look at your peanut butter. I say, let's look at your peanut butter. And let choosy moms choose. Well, let's look right here. This one has hydrogenated vegetable oils, rapeseed oil, which is high oleic oil, which is where canola oil got refined out of genetically modified to create canola. Oh, and then it also has, it has soybean oil, hydrogenated, another form of Crisco. And if you go to the store and look up Crisco on the shelves now, you'll see it's soybean oil, or it could also be palm oil and cottonseed oil. So in a jar like this, think about it. If you're going to make peanut butter, that's all that's in this jar. It's just peanuts, ground up peanuts and salt. But you wouldn't buy this because oftentimes on the top, you'll see there's oil at the top. Okay, well, you don't see that in this. You don't see the peanut oil in a jar of Jif or Skippy because it's hydrogenated. It's been solidified. So if you have 3 or 4 different layers of vegetable oils, seed oils, think about a lasagna. Here's some peanuts, and then now there's cotton seeds, and then there's soybean oil, then there's palm oil. Would you feed your child Crisco? If you're feeding them peanut butter, you probably are. So yes, very much adamant about that. Very much adamant. So thanks for opening that little thing up to me. It's all right there. Well, let me ask you this. As a pharmacist, as a doctor of pharmacist, a very educated, advanced degree college and multiple studied with recertifications and credentialing every year and every other year, what would you do to make sure that if someone wanted to do a product like our protocol, what reference would you use to validate that it's even worthy of being considered?
Right. So first of all, the protocol, the products that George and I are using and are sharing have multiple clinical studies, over 20 clinical validations, including the Cleveland Clinic, the University of Sydney's, BYU, UNLV, Stanford, Columbia. These are prestigious institutions. But on top of that, this protocol is available. It's in the PDR, which is the physician's used to call physician's desk reference. I still have probably a couple of those books somewhere. They're very thick, full of drug informations. But the fact that this nutraceuticals are in there for doctors to recommend to patients, but most doctors do not know about this. I didn't know about this. I graduate from a prestigious school, pharmacy school, like, UCSF is like, the top graduate school in California, right? But I didn't know about it until a couple years ago. I didn't know that this existed. I mean, otherwise, I could have helped so many people. Could have helped my parents. I could have helped my mother-in-law to prevent toes amputation. I mean, she had her toes amputated, and
Oh,
yeah. So at one point, they were going to recommend a foot amputation. So that's what we have, right? Instead of addressing the root cause, we keep treating the symptoms and not teaching people that, hey, you can reverse these conditions, many of these conditions, using food, using lifestyles, using some supplements to help us as tools to make it easier. And we can support our biology rather than using things against it. And people end up losing their eyesight, people end up losing their limbs, and then eventually their life after decades of poor health.
yep. And here's our friend Keith. This slide right here shows Keith Newsom, and he talks about in here about all the things. He was a very good, very good, very good patient
Right.
for decades. He followed the doctor's advice. He had specialists in all the areas of healthcare that you could have. He followed their directions. He followed everything. And in January, he was hospitalized for a sepsis from a foot ulcer and died. He was brought back, and he was talked about. He was looking at the protocol. He was thinking about it, that. But you know what? He has so much story, and that's so valuable that he's alive and here with us. He got to play with his grandson just the other day at a store, running around playing grandpa. Got him playing on the trucks and toying and playing and having fun. I mean, he got to do that. His grandson knows his grandpa.
Yeah.
It's just that doesn't make people pause for a half a second to have the ability to do that. And for me, I didn't have that death experience. I should have been way past it. But Keith is here. You are here. Amanda, everybody that's on our protocol is here to help share this story so our families don't have to go down that road, or at least we can introduce them to the fact that there's hope. You don't have to go down that path.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. And it's validated, just like Dr. Amanda says, guys, it's in the PDR. There's laboratory tests. This isn't some kind of juju that you can buy online, and it's all in there. There's Dr. Bickman's book, Why We Get Sick.
I mean, he does ongoing research on these products, at the university. So he is an independent consultant for these products, and he does ongoing research on this. And the company is confident enough that they're willing to give you a 90-day money-back guarantee if you don't see results in your triglycerides, in your A1C, and your lab, your lab values, or your energy levels, whatever. Just give it a try. Give it a good try. Follow the protocol. Remember, many people did not get sick overnight, or in a year or 2 years or 3 years. It took us decades, because your body is brilliant, and it knows how to compensate. It knows how to keep you alive, and it's designed brilliantly to keep us alive and to heal us. And for many of us in this community on this protocol, it only took us months get the results, to get off medications. Like my mother-in-law, who's been a diabetic for over 15 years and been on a statin for over 20 years, she was able to get off all her medications, lose 20 pounds, and reverse type 2 diabetes in a matter of months, not years, although it took her decades to get the diagnoses. So
Right.
give your body a few months, 90 days, 6 months, just give it a try, and there's no one size fits all. Support your body, and your body will go through some adaptation period. Your body will adjust, and it will pull out toxins, it will release things from your livers, from your fat cells. I mean, estrogens, hormones are being stored in your fat cells, and when you release them, your body will compensate. Your body will try to get them out of your body, and you will, for some people, they will experience some discomfort, some fluctuations in their lab values. And this is not like miracle supplements that we're talking about. This is just tools that we use to support your body so that your body can heal, to allow your body to heal.
Now, how hard is it to use this protocol? I mean, you must have to do all kinds of measuring and going and doing and coming and eating, and how hard is this to do this protocol that you're talking about, doctor?
Yeah, that's why it's like it's been working very well for elderly, for children, for everybody, because it's so simple, right? You wake up in the morning, you drink your tea. I mean, you normally people wake up in the morning, they drink their coffee, they drink their tea. I just switch it from my regular, hot beverage tea. I drink this instead. I just mix this in warm water. I love to drink warm water in the morning, and that helped to support your gut health, your digestion. And I just mix that in warm water and add some a little sea salt to it. And I just sip that throughout the morning. I might have a second one mid-morning or have a second one after my lunch. And then have your lunch. You don't have to calculate the calories or anything. I don't do that. I don't coach that. I eat real food. Have the fiber first, and then eat my protein, my healthy fat. And if I need to have some fruits, some dessert, I'll just attach that to the end. And that's it. It's really simple. You drink your tea in the morning when you're not eating, and then you just have a fiber before your meals. And if you're having a higher carb meal, then have a little bit more of the fiber. You can have an extra fiber. Many of us are deficient in fiber, so you can have more fiber. Just be careful. You need to drink more water too, because when you add this type of fiber in there, you need to drink more water.
Yep, yeah, you're exactly right. And a lot of us were joking quite a bit over the Thanksgiving holiday, was whether you had a fiber before the meal and a fiber before dessert. And
Mhm.
some people had two fibers before the dessert because they were going to lay into the pumpkin pie and the pecan pie and the ice cream and the puddings and all the other, grandma's great Dutch whatever, right? So,
Yes.
but yeah, we don't have to, and then we don't worry about it the next day.
Hmm.
And if you, and once you do eat, and you're done eating, just take a 10-minute stroll. Just take
Yes.
a little bit of a walk. Just take a little bit of a walk. So there's so many things that we can do, that this is just an aid that proves the processes work. And so, yeah, absolutely great. I mean, you are a treasure chest of information. You're a delight as a person. You have a wealth of knowledge, and you share so freely. It's wonderful to be able to visit with you.
Yes, no, thank you so much for inviting me. And again, we're on a mission here because this is a crisis, and I see this every day when I go work at the pharmacy. I feel really bad because I'm dispensing a handful of medications, to an individual, to a patient who does not have this information, who does not know that this something like this exists because their doctors, don't know about it. They and they trust their doctors. And even sometimes I, kind of mention, hey, if you're looking to get off medication, there are natural solutions. You can go, I can give you some information, like you can go attend our free Zoom call, science call, to learn more about insulin resistance. Whether you want to be on a protocol or not, that's up to you. That's your choice. But at least do your own research and learn how to support your body at a cellular level with food,
That's
and
very
learn
true.
how
Very
to, yes, and learn how to support your body. And it's very disheartening for me as a pharmacist, dispensing hundreds of medications and on a regular basis, knowing that there is a natural solution that people can that have access to. Not only that, it's affordable, George, right? It's like cost less than your breakfast. And it's, if you have HSA and FSA, it's covered by HSA and FSA as well.
And if you're someone like I'm 74, and what's the average amount of prescriptions that someone that's a 74-year-old would be on? I'm on none, by the way, but what would the average 74-year-old male in America or in
I
the
mean, blood pressure, cholesterol, type 2 diabetes meds, and recently, the past few years, the injections. At least 5, and 3 to 5 on average. But then we have those individuals who are more advanced, they're on a dozen or more medications.
and they're on a dozen or more because they started taking medicine for something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's chronic.
Mm-hmm.
And so over time, the medication that they were on isn't effective enough. So they add another medication plus to keep the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes.
and then after a while, because it's chronic and progressive, I believe that's the terminology, then we need another one. And then they go to the ultimate, whatever. So what they're saying is that it's a lasagna of medication that is trying to control the symptom,
Mm-hmm.
but not the cause.
You got it. You nailed it. Yeah, so we keep treating the symptom, each one of these on the poster, or if you want to
Right.
put up more pictures. So you start off with a blood pressure meds, a cholesterol med, and then, acid reflux meds. These are the common meds that I keep on the fast rack, that, so that we have it in front of us because we need them. Like every other one, we need that. We need statin, we need metformin, we need, PPI, and yeah, these are one we keep in front of us. So those three combination is almost, almost every other prescription, I see them in front of me. Blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, medications,
Wow.
and injections.
And now we throw in the injection.
Now we throw in the GLP-1 agonist in the
Sure.
past couple of years. That is gone wild. But
So if we think about it, there wouldn't really be any profit in getting someone healthy, would there? I mean, I'm just
no.
asking, right?
Probably not, because some of these medications are blockbuster medications, or they're billion-dollar medications, like metformin, like statins, like the injections, Ozempic.
Wow, and they just keep coming up with then they keep coming up with more. And is there any I just out of curiosity, because I'm aware of in the PDR.net. When I remember it was a PDR. My dad was a doctor, and I remember him having the books on the desk right next to the Merck manual. Okay, so and I'm old enough, I know the books too. But the question is that when you start looking at that, are people even concerned, or even, I guess, one concerned, or two, are they even knowledgeable? And I know that you asked if they have any questions. I'm sure you do, because that's a liability thing. Do you have any questions?
Mm-hmm.
But do people ever really ask questions? Do they pay attention to the box warning, which we call on the side black box warning? Do they even give a rip? Or is it just, I got it, I need this, I'm going home?
Yes. And it's it baffles me because some patients don't even know why they're taking certain medications. They just just because their doctor prescribes for them. So that's why that's part of our job too, to make sure that there's no duplications and drug interactions and all that. And many patients, they just take it. It becomes an automatic. And yeah, so it's we, of course, new prescriptions, we have to give them consultations. In term of the injections, many of them, because they want to lose the weight, that's their focus. And their doctors say it's okay for them to take. So many people, I'm not saying that do not trust your doctor or anything like that,
Of
but
course, of
do
course.
your own research. And yes, these injections do come with some potential severe side effects. And these are the medications that we're talking about. These are the medication me as a pharmacist would never go on myself. I'm not telling anybody else. I'm just telling these are the medication I would never go on myself. And
And isn't it also true that even if someone was on a medication like that, the injection, one of those ones, artificials, even if they were on it and they were on the protocol would has no negative interactions with any of them. And in fact,
no,
it
these
enhances a lot of people will get on one of those and then they'll stale. They'll get stalled. And this actually helps that, even though in and of itself, it actually raises naturally, proven in the laboratory research, it naturally produces a GLP-1 in our body increases the natural by 60% with no loss of muscle mass, no loss of bone, no loss of tissue. And so it does, which is what it's supposed to do, is slows down the digestive stimulus, the TSP1, TSP2, and keeps our satiated so that we're not hungry. So we don't have those cravings without the whatever the box warnings would say. And
correct.
so but it doesn't hurt it because it's food. I love it when I hear this. Well, I'm going to go ask my doctor. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to ask my doctor. Well, on TV and the radio and is ask your doctor it's right for you. Ask your doctor it's right for you. Ask your doctor it's right for you. Well, he's always going to say it's right for you because he has incentivized. Sure. I mean, maybe he knows something you shouldn't have because it's on the medication, but as a rule, you ask them, you're going to have it. They're going to get it. You're going to go. They're going to show up at your place. You're going to hand it to them. And they're on their way. But this, you don't ask your doctor if it's okay if I have broccoli. You don't ask your doctor if it's okay if I have a sweet potato.
Or drink some tea. Or drink some tea, right?
Tea. What? Come on.
I know. So, I mean, all we can do is share our story, share our journey, and this is food that the body needs. And I am grateful that I have this as a tool. And it has been a game changer, been life changing for my entire family. My entire family's on it. So every month I pay for 5 systems. Not just for myself, for my entire
Oh my
family,
goodness
my
gracious.
mother-in-law as well. So,
Oh, look at this. And James just said that he dropped his triglycerides 51 points in 3 weeks.
yeah, it's
And down,
amazing. It's amazing.
and down 26 pounds. You don't get that on the fake juju, do you?
I've never seen anyone on any medications that can lower triglyceride this effectively. None. I mean, and cholesterol runs in our family, especially my husband's side.
Okay. Okay.
And Shannon Davis, like she's a dietitian. She's fit as a fiddle. I
Yep.
mean, she exercises every day. Check out her muscles.
Yeah,
And
she
she did not need to lose weight. She did not have any other chronic health issues, but she did have high triglyceride, and she was able to lower her from 250 to 50 in matter of months.
yeah.
And that shift her the way she practiced, that shifts her entire career actually. So now she's helping people to take back their health, just like me. I mean, I plan to do this full time soon, hopefully. But for now, I mean, there's a need for me at the pharmacy. I mean, there's a time and place for medications. The
Oh
medication
yeah,
can be
absolutely.
life-saving,
Absolutely.
right? If your condition is advanced enough, you do need some medication to keep you alive.
Absolutely. I absolutely
We
support.
are here to share this protocol so that you don't end up in that state, right? Hope
Absolutely.
catch it early enough. If you have Alzheimer's, we were able to help my mother-in-law because it was early enough, but many patients are very advanced, and when it's very sad, that you have parents who don't recognize you anymore,
Yeah.
and we have the opportunity to help prevent
We
that
can
if
head it
we.
off at the pass.
Mm-hmm,
We can head it off at the pass. You're absolutely right. Well,
yeah.
Amanda, um, while we wrap this up, I mean, it's been a joy and a pleasure and a delight to be with you again today, and I hope we will get together again. What would you like to make as your final stands? Now, by the way, Amanda has a link to message her to learn more about the protocol, and and I have a link to get the protocol both at the lowest wholesale price available. And if you get a hold of either of us, we will walk you through. We'll be your coach. You're not just off on your own figuring things out. We have a community that shares. We have science calls every week. We'll invite you every week to the science calls. Last night was a neurologist, a neurosurgeon, talking about inflammation. And our company provides this open, and there was 500 people on the call last night, open information, because we want to educate people from experts in their fields to help everybody be metabolically better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of it. So, Amanda, anything to wrap up the call today before we hang this up?
Yes, if you want to get off medications, if you want to have more energy, if you want to take back your health, if you don't want to spend the last 10, 20, 30 years of your life taking medications all day long, have no energy, have pain, have gut issues, can't enjoy food, give this a try. I mean, you have nothing to lose, right? I mean, it comes with a 90-day money back guarantee, and it's covered by HSA and FSA. I mean, this gives people hope that that you can restore your health. And we're here to help you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much, Amanda. Great seeing you. Have a great weekend. We'll chat again, okay?
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.